All right, folks, this is our first day of checking our hives. These bees have been in here since Saturday when you guys went to the fairgrounds and put them in. And we're going to show you how to work a hive. We've got a little view of what's going on around our neighborhood here. We have a ton of bloom. So as you can see, when you look at this hive, they are working really, really hard right now. And so, but they're out in the sunlight, which is good. It was about 58 degrees before I got here to the shop. And so we're gonna open this up. Jim's gonna demo starting his smoker. Okay, just so you know how to do it.
This one's broken, but normally you would just flip your top up, and then you can either use a match or we use a torch. It's a lot quicker. You can use any kind of fuel. Well, not any kind, but pine needles work real good. Burlap works real good. Cotton works real good. You can buy packages of processed cotton, and it works real good. So you're just gonna heat it up,
Burn it.
get it going, put your top on, and give it a few puffs.
Stop on.
So this smoker was used by my son. That's why it's dented and everything. And so I noticed he left it in the box and he switched out with another one.
So we're all done there. So what you're going to do is gently take off your top, set it behind your hive.
Gonna smoke the hole.
You're going to give a couple puffs of smoke in
See
there.
the bees there? They're gonna dodge down. See them go down?
They don't need very much. Then you're going to take your hive tool, lift the top, lift the inner cover off gently, and then you're going to set it. First, you're going to look for the queen. A lot of times the queen will be up here. For some reason, there's a lot of bees up here on the inside of the inner cover. I don't see her anywhere. They very well may have chewed off that green already, but we don't see her. We're going to set this right down
Point them
here.
at that drone there. So you see that drone there? Big eyes, sawed off butt.
Right there.
You know?
He's right there.
So that drone was not raised in this hive. He came in one of the hives, and so he just got here from California, and they'll distribute themselves throughout the yard.
Now you see right off the bat a lot of comb they're building right over here.
Putting their own ladder in.
We're just gonna take this out.
Another drone right there too.
We had a lot flying around.
And they're already putting honey in it.
I'll put it out front.
Okay, let's see. Need to get in there a little more. Smoke them a little, move them out of the way a little bit.
So they will put this stuff in there all the time, so don't freak out about it. Just remove it gently and maybe not so gently, and get it out of there. And they even capped it, if you saw that real quick. Jim wants to grab it without getting stung.
There we go. Okay, now we can go ahead and start. As long as we're here, we're going to check the level of your syrup. And
can you see anything in there?
There's a little bit in there, but
okay, I fed them on Sunday.
We're going to add some more, and you'll be mixing this 1 to 1. 1 part sugar, 1 part water.
Now,
and if it's a little warm, that's even better, especially in the morning.
The reason you're not they didn't empty that feeder is because there's so much bloom here. Since this package was installed, they've had been exposed to bloom every day, and the only day they didn't work was the day we had the high winds. That's pretty good.
So now, what you want to do is, normally we're doing this a little backwards, I'm going to have to start working across all the bees. What you would want to do is start from this side, so all the bees, you worked this way toward the bees.
We can go ahead and take that outside frame out.
I'm going to, yeah.
And then,
I'm going to.
So
and
the
what
thing
I'm going to
is-
do is you put this, you're going to take this out, your furthest away frame, and you're going to set it opposite you. We'll put it down in front of Larry's feet.
yeah, you know, it's
And
bare
we're
legs.
just going to set these back. Now, when you set your frames down, just don't drop them down, because when the hive starts to get full of bees, there's going to be bees everywhere. So what you want to do is set it up against the other frame and slide it down. You're going to
Okay.
cause less damage that way.
1 second. Right here, watch the bees walking off this inner cover inside. They're just marching like soldiers. See that? That's why we put it there, so they'll just drift back in the hive.
Okay, we're just going to gradually work our way forward. These are still empty. We're not expecting a whole lot here. Now, we're starting to see a lot of bees. So when you pick up your frame, you always want to pick it up over the hive in case the queen falls off, or there's a drone here.
Yeah,
There's a
Bob.
drone here. There's a drone right there. See the difference between the drones and the worker bees? And you see how they're building out this comb. They're working like crazy. So now we're going to check the other side. Very gently, real slow. See, there's a lot of drones in
You
here.
have a lot of
Here's
drones.
one, here's one. And they're just starting to build this out right here. So again, we're going to set this frame up against this frame and slide it down. Now we should start to see something. Gently pick it up.
Wow, they have drawn this out beautiful.
Now this is
There
all
she is.
drawn out. Here's the queen right here.
Now look at that queen. That is not a Carnolan. It is not an Italian. It is Caucasian.
Now we're going to see what she's been doing here. Let's look and see if we can see some eggs. See all this shiny? All this shiny stuff is nectar. It's either sugar syrup or nectar that they're storing already.
Boy, look up here at the top.
Yeah.
She hasn't started laying on it yet.
Let me take a look here real quick. No, but you see the darker yellow right here? They're starting to bring in some pollen as well.
Yep.
Okay, this other side, we're probably going to see some cells, some eggs. Oh, here she is.
Yep, she moved to the
She
other side.
moved. See how quick she moved? She was on that side, now she's over here. So now we're going to just kind of move them out of the way a little bit. And there's a whole bunch of eggs right there. So if you can get in there and see the eggs.
There they are. So those little bitty things that look like rice kernels,
Are they straight up or are they laying over?
they're laying over. So they are
Okay.
3 days old. That's so awesome.
You don't want to do this often, but you can, to get them to move out of the way, you can gently blow. There you can get a good view of the eggs.
There we go. See those there? Nice. That's what you want to see, folks.
Okay, again, we're gonna lean it up against this frame and gently slide it down.
And you see how gentle these bees are? I mean, they're not doing anything to us. We're just, as long as you don't stand in front of the hive, you can work from the side as long as you don't make noise. You're just quietly working.
Very gently lift everything up.
Wow, that's drawn out really.
This is drawn out real nice
See
all
any
the way
larvae
here.
in there at all?
Let me check. Eggs. Eggs are on their side. I don't see any larvae yet, but it's another day or so. I'm surprised how many drones are in here.
Yeah.
Now see the difference between this little guy here and this little guy here?
Carnolin and an Italian.
There's a Carnolin and an Italian.
Okay.
So now these are looking
Let's see
real.
what the other side looks like.
Look over here.
See here, they've drawn out the other side against the feeder.
Usually
They
they
don't.
fill this with
Honey.
with honey.
Let's see. Anything in the middle of that going on?
All eggs.
All eggs. So when we looked at this hive on Sunday, there was a patch of, in one day, they had drawn out about 5 inches of comb, and I didn't see any eggs in it, but there was 5 inches of comb drawn out about half height. So they were drawing comb as soon as we closed up this package and let it start doing its thing.
Now when you're done, you can gently close them together. Again, the best way to do it is just slide the bees down, and you want to make sure that all your frames are tight. These we can just push over because they're all empty, but you want to keep those tight. That way they're not going to put propolis in between them and make it a lot harder to get in and out of your frames as you check them.
Now, a lot of times when you're going to put your inner cover back on, you have a lot of bees on the top bar. This is nothing. They're not really doing a lot of flying. They're just standing there. So it's easy to put the inner cover on. Now look at this inner cover. We only got a few bees left on it.
Now when you put your inner cover back on, it's always best, if there's bees on it, to give it just a smack like that. Get them off. Then when you make sure that the front entrance, the open entrance, is facing forward, you set it at an angle like this and slide it over like that.
So one of the things you need to think about, when we looked at that feeder, we still had syrup in it from Sunday. And here it is 5 days later. Normally they would drain that feeder, but because there's so much nectar out here, the bees prefer nectar and they prefer real pollen. If they have those available to them, they'll stop eating your pollen, Patty. They'll stop eating your syrup.
Now when you put your top on, you set your top on, make sure it's on all the way, and make sure that you push it forward, because this closes that entrance. Pushing it forward opens that entrance.
Now the comb we laid on the front board, they're gonna suck up that honey, and they're going to, we forgot a magic marker. They're gonna eat that honey up and go back and pour it in. And what we'll do, then we'll come by here in a couple days. We'll pick that up and throw it into a coffee can, and then we melt it down to make candles out of it. So everything in this hive is going to be used if you're careful about it. Even if you threw it in the grass, the bees will go back. That's their honey. They're going to go get it, okay? But I like putting it in little pieces like that right in front. You can see there's already bees on it working it, okay? We're now going to mark what we saw here. So think about what we saw. When we opened the hive, we had bees all over frame number 1, frame number 2. Frame number 3 was pretty well covered, and frame number 4 had some bees on it on one side. Now here it is noon. We got a lot of bees out flying around. So we could assume that we have 4 frames of bees in here. So we're going to mark this hive 4B. We'll put the date. Hope you remember what it is.
What is it?
4/18.
18.
We're going to write 4.
We're going to write 4.
B.
bees.
Okay, and now we're going to write the next number is going to be frames of brood. So we saw eggs on 2 frames. So we'll put 2 on there. So next week, next Friday, we'll come in here and look at this hive, and we're going to look to see that this hive has expanded that brood nest and that those eggs are all larvae or capped, okay? That's 7 days from now.
We saw the queen as well, so we want queen right.
Queen right.
This hive weighs, so we're going to go queen right, and it weighs 28 pounds.
Okay.
Now we know exactly how much that hive is going to grow and how much weight it's going to put on or lose. Obviously, this time of year, if the hive loses weight, you got to start checking something's not right. But that gives you an idea. That tells you exactly what you saw in this hive. Next week, we'll do the same thing. And we'll do that all summer long and into the fall.
So it's really important when you call your mentor to talk to them that you're going to say, I saw 4 frames of bees. I saw 2 frames with eggs on it, or larvae and eggs, or whatever you see. You got to recognize that and be able to tell your mentor. The other thing you want to tell him is, did I see my queen and she was okay? Now, we would tell you that if you didn't find the queen, that the queen's all right because she's got eggs, fresh eggs, okay? They're standing up or they're laying down. So she's there, all right? So we know what's going on. And if you have something that's really out of what you saw here, you want to send your mentor a picture of it, okay? This is what your hive should look like. This is identical to what you're going to get, okay? I think we got a wrap for the day, right?
Right
There
on.
we go.
See you next week.